You know, guys, I realized that I had shown off my vintage Yankee binder from the 50s to the 70s to 1979. I haven't shown off my 80s Topps binder. So tonight, guys, gonna do that for you. Good night, good evening, sports fans. Thanks for joining me for another video. This is Mike, and I'm about to show off my 1980 to 1989 Topps binder. Um, this binder here holds all my Topps cards from from those 10 years in the 80s, which is when I was truly a Yankee fan. Not that I'm not a Yankee fan still. I am truly but this was the 80s was when I kind of paid my dues, if you will. The Yankees in the 80s, they weren't bad. Some people said that the Yankees were horrible in the 80s. They were not horrible in the 80s. They won the most games in the majors in that decade. Unfortunately, it didn't translate to any world championships and only two playoffs appearances during that era, 1980 and 81. 81 they made the World Series, but they lost in the Fall Classic to the Los Angeles Dodgers 4 games to 2. And since then, the Yankees before then didn't again appear in a World Series until 1996. So enough of the history lesson. Let's get on with the binder. This here is the 1980 Topps, and off the bat there are some players here like Ron Davis, man, could have been the Yankees closer for years. I mean, we had Gossage, so that's probably why the Yankees didn't keep him. There goes Mr. Afro right there, and Oscar Gamble. Ed Figueroa was kind of a personal hero to us Puerto Ricans because he was the first Puerto Rican ever to win 20 games in the majors. I think he's the only Puerto Rican still to ever win 20 games in the majors, which is incredible if you think about it. There's Bobby Mercer. There goes Gossage, Nettles, my boy Reggie. Sweet Lou Piniella, man, I love Lou Piniella. Roy White, met several times. Willie Randolph. Ron Guidry's another personal favorite. I love Ron Guidry. Tommy John, I think, should be a Hall of Famer. Louis Tiant. I remember one game, Louis Tiant, when he pitched, was taken out early. He took his glove and just threw it right into the stands. As a young kid, that always stayed with me. And Chris Chambliss. This is the Yankee Future Stars. And the last card in the 80 set that I have. And now this is the 1981 Topps set. Team set. This is the set that made me start really wanting to collect baseball cards. I was collecting cards before then. Let me focus on that. But this was the set that I started really becoming a card junkie. Um, I just love. I don't know why. What it was about this set that appealed to me, but as a kid, I spent every piece of my allowance on 1981 Topps baseball. I have other base. This might be a set that I may actually put together because I do love this set. It just brings me back to a time when when all I did as a kid was watch baseball. My Saturdays were I woke up early. I got to see the Super Friends, Batman, and the Spider-Man shows, and the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Hour, and then it was on the Channel 4, where I watched the baseball bunch, and then the game of the week, if there wasn't a Yankee game playing on TV. Love this Reggie card. And then on Sundays, it would be Abbott and Costello on Channel 11, This Week in Baseball, and then the Yankees. Man, those were some fun times as a kid. Dave LaRoche, man, I love that lob pitch he used to throw. The announcers would go more nuts for it than he did. I love that set. And here's the 82 top. No, last one from 81. And now the 82 Topps. Another one of Reggie there. Winfield's not in the 81 Topps set, I don't think. I don't remember seeing him in the 81 Topps set. Well, remember that was the year they went to. She has to be in the 81 Topps set. Well, you know what? Remember this, back in the day, they still had the players after they left still in the old uniform. So I think he was still a Padre in that set. I have to look into that. I think this might be Winfield's first Yankee card. Well, at least with Topps, I have to check the Fleer sets and the Donruss set. Maybe he's as a Yankee in those sets. Yeah, I do have the Yankees team sets from the 80s in Donruss and Fleer also. I'll feature that in a later video. Rick Reuschel, I think he only spent a year or two with the Bronx. Bobby Mercer, man, I love Bobby Mercer. Roy Smalley was my aunt's favorite Yankee. I remember this might have been the year where it was early in the season and Winfield had struck out a couple of times. I think he also had an error in the outfield. And I remember sitting out in left field where he was playing, and the fans were just booing him unmercifully. And then later in the game, he comes up with runners on the bases, and he just hits a bomb to center field. And when he came back, my section started cheering him. And I remember as a kid, I waved at Winfield. Winfield waved back at me. That was such a thrill for me as a kid to have Dave Winfield waving at me. Another Reggie card. These Reggie cards are probably going to have to come out of this binder into the Reggie binder. I haven't had a chance to do that just yet. I love these in action cards also. I think that Reggie and maybe the Nettles are my two favorite in action cards. You got an 81 highlight with Ron Davis. And now we go into the 83 Topps. Another set that I actually liked a lot was this 83 set. Love where you got the two pictures of the players. Not the first time Topps has done that, but for me as a young collector it was. And I thought that was sweet. Oh, Dave LaRoche actually played more years with the Yankees than I thought. It's his third Yankee card. Doyle Alexander, man. I remember he pitched for the Yankees for a little bit. Another Dave Winfield. Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. Man, he was supposed to be the answer at first base. But then along came a guy by the name of Donald Arthur Mattingly, and that ended whatever ideas he had of playing first base. I think he played DH for a while until he left and went to Kansas City and won a World Series in Kansas City. George Frazier, man. George Frazier earned my wrath as a kid, losing 3 World Series games in the 81 series. Butch Hobson, that was one of the first. Actually, Louis Etienne was the first, but he was the first one that I knew of that was a Red Sox and came over to the Yankees, and I was kind of like, But Hobson didn't do well. That didn't do too badly for the Yankees. Shane Rawley, Dave Righetti. This isn't one of the reasons why I love Righetti. Righetti was the Yankees' best pitcher. He knew that the Yankees needed a reliever, and he actually went and gave up his career as a starter to become a reliever. And for 1 year, he had the record for most saves in a season. Actually, it wasn't 1 year. He had it for a while. And I don't remember who broke it. I don't know if it was Mariano who broke it. Mariano holds the record now. I think it was Mariano that broke the record. I used to love these super veteran cards that showed an early picture from their years and for what they look like now. And there's the glossy. The only one I have is the Winfield one. I got into the 1984 Topps. Which is the Mattingly rookie, which I don't have it in this binder, I don't think. I think I have the Mattingly rookie in the Mattingly binder, which actually should be in a protector. So shame on me for not doing that. There goes Nettles' last card as a Yankee before he got traded to San Diego and went to a World Series with them there. Same with Goose. But Goose signed with San Diego as a free agent. Bert Campaneris, man. I remember he played a little bit with the Yankees and did pretty well with them. It's like a super sub for them at that time. Deirdre had another 20-game win season. I don't think it was this season. It might have been 84, 85 that he won another 20 games. That was his last time he did it, too. Oh, there goes the Mattingly rookie. I guess I had another one. Either way, I've got to take the Mattingly rookie out and put it in a binder. Andre Robinson, he was supposed to be the shortstop of the future. Then he got into a car accident and ruined his career. And here are the subsets: the career active home run leaders, stolen base leaders, save leaders, hit leaders, and another all-star, an all-star card rather. I have more of these. I just haven't put them in the binder. Here's the 85 Topps. This is when the Yankees started becoming good again, when they had players like Winfield and Mattingly and Ricky Henderson and Don Baylor, and they still had Willie Randolph. Willie Randolph was still productive. Yeah, that's right. They had Ken Griffey Jr. for a little bit too, for a couple of years. Pags was the guy who replaced Nettles at third, and he was decent. He wasn't bad at all. The Yankees had Phil Negro here too. Negro actually won his 300th game as a Yankee in Toronto. Rick Cerone was a big crowd favorite with the Yankees too. Jose Rijo, that's a guy we should have held on to. And you got these stickers. I think they're stickers. And Manley, now Manley Winfield's in that one, and there's Butch Weinecker. And here's the 86 set. Now this was the year I thought the Yankees had a shot of making the playoffs. They were just crazy on the offense, but they had no pitching. And that's why they finished behind Boston in the standings that year. Man, could you imagine if it was a Yankee-Met World Series in '86? I know the Mets probably would have killed us because they had the crazy pitching and the crazy offense, but I think the Yankees could have won a few games against the Mets that year. Heck, if Boston took them to 7 games, and Boston had their foot on the Mets' throat if it wasn't for a couple of things that just didn't go their way, namely Bill Buckner. I loved Ricky, man. When I was a kid, I used to pretend that was Ricky, and when I would hit a home run, pop the collar and just run down the base paths. I used to actually do the snap catch too. When I played the outfield, drove my coach crazy. I think this might have been either an update set or might have been like on the bottom. I think it's an update set. I thought this was on the bottom of a cereal box or something. I do remember. I think I have a couple, like a row from a cereal box from this year, or a snack cake box. I don't remember. I have to take a look at what it is. And then you got the All-Star cards and the minis and the glossies and the sticker. And then we go into the 87 Topps. Lou Piniella was managing this team. Danny Pasqua, man. I remember Pasqua was another one that they were looking at as like the future, and he kept getting injured, the poor guy. And they moved him over to Chicago. He actually had a decent career in Chicago, if I remember correctly. Then remember we had Joe Negro for a little bit too. Claudel Washington. Bobby Meacham, man, was what they called the always on the Columbus shuttle. Columbus was the AAA team of the Yankees at the time, and that guy went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth between Columbus and the Yankees. Steinbrenner just couldn't stand the guy, from what I read. Ron Kittle, we had him for a couple years too. Doug Drabeck was another guy we should have held on to. That turned back the clock, the Reggie card. I love that card. And we got the All-Stars and the minis. And another All-Star card. And the 88 Topps. I'm going to get Guidry's last years. I think he ended his career in '89, I think. He just didn't have it no more. Cecilio Guante, I remember he actually was decent for a little bit until Billy Martin ruined his arm. Steve Trout, man, that's I remember reading that the Yankees were fighting for first place, and Steinbrenner walks into Lou Piniella's office and says, "I just won you the pennant, Lou. I got you, Steve Trout." And Steve Trout was like an abomination in New York. Neil Allen, remember when he was a Met. Wayne Tollison played shortstop and third for us. Al Leiter was another guy we should have held on to. But he kept getting blisters and was injury prone. Another guy we should have hung on to, Jay Buna. Or as George Costanza's father called him, Jay Buna. Roberto Kelly. Jack Clark, man. A big free agent signing and turned out to be very injury prone. Some All-Star cards here. Turn back the clock around Blomberg. And some superstars here. These were always double-sided. So on one side you had these stickers, and the back you had other players. So obviously I choose to have the backs on these. And here are the fronts, which feature Yankees. It was Donnie Baseball. And the final page set here is the 89 Topps. Dallas Green, who just passed away not too long ago. Dave Allen was a Yankee pitching coach. I think he was the pitching coach in 2009 when the Yankees won the World Series. The Candy Man, John Candelaria. Another set I liked is like the script of the Yankees and the player name underneath the little flag going down there. Ricky Henderson's last Yankee card. There was a guy that we played softball with. He was a little older, and I swear to God he looked like Alvaro Espinosa. We used to call him Espinosa. It's when Balboni came back. Mel Hall, who's one of my most disliked Yankees because I heard about the treatment he gave to Bernie Williams, a young Bernie Williams, making fun of him all the time. Steve Sax, I liked Steve Sax a lot when he was at the Yankees. When I played second base, I wore his number 6. Andy Hawkins, man, the guy had pitched a no-hitter and lost, and baseball took it away from him because it was a losing effort. Neon Deion Sanders did nothing really with the Yankees, was sent to Cincinnati. I think he won a World Series with them too. And that's it. Well, guys, this was the 1980s binder of my Yankees Topps collection. Want to thank you all for watching the video. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed for more baseball, football, hockey, basketball, bobbleheads, sports cards, and anything else I can think of content. Please do like this video if you do like it. Leave a comment below of what you thought about the video. And guys, thanks a lot for watching the video. I'm getting closer and closer to 200, and soon when I hit the 200 or surpass 200, I will announce the contest, and I will actually pick out the prizes, and this will probably take place sometime in July. But this contest will happen once I hit or surpass 2,000. So guys, thanks for watching the video, and remember, collecting is the life, so live it.